Today, I'm reviewing the Volkswagen Scirocco, a solid and all-around great hot hatch in today's market. With this car being sadly discontinued over the course of the last few years, I thought I'd give it a good farewell send-off. So, let's do that. First up is the usual and, well, fun top speed test. Welcome to the Genesis 1 mile dragway. It's a place where many cars come to push their speed, and well, their engines, to the limit. Some would put their speed onto the boards. Let's see how the Scirocco can do in this test. The Scirocco, or VW, whichever you want to call it, topped out at, surprisingly, 90.2 miles per hour. It was hitting 90.3 miles per hour here and there, but it was more stable at 90.2, which is why I made it at this level. Next up is the brake-tastically fun brake test. The car will deploy the brakes on this black line. The goal of the test is to not hit the parked Dacia Duster. Let's see how the Scirocco can do in this test. I will admit, this car does have some very slidey brakes, and it does seem to have rear-ended the Dacia a little too hard, if you catch what I mean. But let's move on. Let's also test the cornering of the Scirocco by going through some tight corners. Shouldn't be too difficult. Next up is the infamous parallel park. And with tremendous ease, the Scirocco passes this test. Let's now test the ride of this car, and test this car's suspension on a small gravel road segment. Surprisingly enough, for a hot hatch car, this rides really, really well. Yes, it does start a little bit rough at the start, but as I kept driving along the course, it slowly got smoother and smoother. This is definitely a very good car for driving on busy roads or bumpy roads throughout the city, and it's going to provide a very good riding experience for the driver and passengers. But can the Scirocco do bumps? Well, let's find out in the bump test. To my surprise, unlike the gravel road segment or ride test, whatever you want to call it, surprisingly enough, Scirocco really struggled during this test. With its very slow speed and its kind of slow off the line kind of thing, it had some very hard time getting over the bumps during the bump test. It got through, but it just took way longer than I was naturally expecting, especially for a car like this. The model of Scirocco I am driving today is the R version, which I'm going to assume is more like a sport model. I don't have an accurate MPG figure for this specific one, but I do know that it averages somewhere between 29 MPG to 34 MPG in both city and highway, which is very impressive. However, I want to see how those figures apply on the track, so let's find out. And now, let's give the Scirocco an official lap around the circuit. The official standard time is 2:33:62. With added up accidents and collisions, the final adjusted time is 2:33:62. And on that Scirocco and Wagony like note, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.